Jamie Lee Ross.
I move that the question be now put.
Oh, make it fightery.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to take a short call on the Policing Cost Recovery Amendment Bill, and I want to start and preface my contribution, sir, with legislation that's passed in this House, in my humble opinion, should be very clear, should be removed of any ambiguity, should be the most recent information or stats should be available, and where possible, and I think it's a sign on this side of the House, that ministerial interference should be at its minimum. So let's turn to this bill, and this is why Labour isn't supporting this bill, Sue, because on reading it, it is not only unclear, and I'll reference the particular parts of the bill, it's dated, and of course, for me, it has too much of the minister in it. And I'll draw your attention, sir, to the first clause, 79B1. Sir, where it says, policing services that may be subject to cost recovery. The Minister may recommend the regulation under section 102A only if the Minister is satisfied that the policing service in question is a demand service. Now, Mr. Chair, if anyone should know what a demand service should be the Commissioner of Police, surely. Surely the Commissioner of Police should know that, but in this instance we have the Minister. The Minister in the Ivory Tower are going to determine what meets that criteria of demand service, and so I put that down, and I'd probably want a response from the Minister and the Chair. The second point I made, it was unclear. Now the Minister in the seat got up and shared with this House, particularly around clauses 7, 9F, payment of fees. We're led to believe in this House that it was going to be $7 per vet service, but the Minister responded and said no, it's $8.50. And other colleagues have actually put the point up, how sustainable is $8.50? Could it go beyond that? And so I think that the Minister and the Chair making up decisions like that isn't a good process when we come in to examine particular bills, and that should have been put on, sir, in my humble opinion, an SOP. The third point that I mentioned, sir, was dated. And this is in response to 79G, and others have talked about in the regulative impact statement of the police, which is 3 years old. You know, it talks about approximately 500,000 vets are processed each year. I'd like to know whether that figure is actually the current figure, sir. You know, this House should have the most updated vet numbers per annum, and using figures that are 3 years old doesn't give this House the necessary information to make a decision on this bill, because it is a police recovery bill. So we should have in this House the most up-to-date figures that the police are currently having to do. And sir, this is why I'm saying it is outdated, it is unclear, and the Minister is tampering with it. The other point that the Minister said when she took the seat was around, well, in terms of 79G, sir, the exemptions, she mentioned, well, you know, if you do 20 or less vets per year, you might be exempt. Now, I'm going to talk, as my colleague Calvin Davis mentioned, in my electorate, we have something called Ain Māori, where we have thousands of people converge on the Pandora Pond and Napier, and we have hundreds of volunteers. Now, I can see that this potentially is going to cost what has become an iconic event in my electorate. I have Kahungunu Waitangi Day, where we have tens or thousands of people come there, and we have again lots of volunteers, and I can see an impact on those organisations. I have Tamararo, which is one of the largest kapahaka in Gisborne, and of course this Labour weekend we're going to have Māori Rugby League converge on Wainuamata. Sir, these are just some of many local events that I believe could be impacted if we don't give a clear signal who's in, who's out, and how much it's going to cost. Kia ora.